Erica here from Minding Business, and I am super excited because I have a really special guest today that I know you guys are going to absolutely love. She's a dear friend of mine, and I admire her so much, and I know that her story will hopefully inspire a lot of you. So, without further ado, I'm going to let my dear friend, Dr. Wright, introduce herself. I want you to tell them a little bit more about you, and then we're going to jump right in.
Yes. Hi, guys. As Erica said, I am Dr. Arnell Wright. I am a general dentist. I'm practicing here in Orlando, Florida. I am originally from Winter Haven, Florida, and I moved to Gainesville to pursue a degree in dentistry. Most of you guys may have seen me socially as the Daily Dentist, and I'm super excited to be here. I just want to stop and say thank you so much, Erica, for bringing me on to your show. I really hope that our chat today is going to inspire some women, get some women fired up, and just lead them into that best season of their life.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you. So I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit more about your background. If you can go a little deeper into your background, kind of share a little bit about how you got started. And for me, I'm always talking about setting goals and visualizing. So if you use any techniques like that, if you can share those with us as well.
Absolutely. So I'll give you guys a good start to how I got into dentistry. First and foremost, I am a first generation college student, and that was navigation in and of itself. I went off to college and I had no idea what kind of career I was going to pursue. It started off in law. Then it transitioned to business, and then I ended up in the nutritional college. And I finally decided that I wanted to be a dentist based off of some past experiences going to the dentist and finally having like a really good experience. So I had just went back and forth between what career I was going to pursue. And when it came time for me to apply to dental school, being first generation, I had no idea how to even navigate that process. So that kind of put me behind. So if you can see or follow where this story is going, you will know that I have been deemed as like a late bloomer or just like a little bit behind some of my peers. So I thought, but I really believe in faith. I believe in timing. And I believe that where God had me, I was right exactly where I needed to be. And of course, hindsight is 2020. But once I applied to dental school. I didn't get into dental school the first time nor the second time. It wasn't until the third time that I applied. I don't know if you know that much, but I applied 3 times before I got accepted into dental school. And that kind of just set me back emotionally a little bit. So I had these wild dreams. Here I am. I'm from Winter Haven, Florida, also known Polk County, if for people out there. And I had never seen a dentist that was a woman nor a Black woman, and here I am applying to dental school to become a doctor, let alone just getting my bachelor's degree. So I've always been just such a big thinker and a big dreamer. And once I got into dental school, it was literally the perfect timing. I kid you not. Timing means everything. So I don't know if you want to chime in right there, but it was the perfect timing. And I can go in more details if you like.
Yeah. You know what? I love that you emphasize timing because I've talked about this so much, and divine timing is what I think all of us really have to start focusing on a little more in our lives, because I felt, especially with women, I feel like we have a time stamp on so many things. So we think, okay, at this age, I'm supposed to be doing this. At this age, I'm supposed to be doing this. And I think with social media, I think a lot of us are looking at our peers and people who are in our age group, and we're saying, how is she doing this? And she's my age or she's younger. But I think divine timing is so very important. So thank you so much for sharing that. Also, I'm going to rewind this back.
Yes, please.
3 times. It took two, not one, not two, but that third time was the charm.
Yeah.
Now, entrepreneurs out there, especially,
Yeah.
we've talked about this. You guys, sometimes it's not an overnight success. And let me tell you something. In my story, it took me 5 years to actually really start seeing revenue, actually start seeing the blood, sweat, and tears pay off with my business. So I feel like divine timing and just really not giving up and just staying persistent is really, really a key to success as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about how spirituality played a role into you getting where you are and you really not giving up. Are you big on vision boards and goals lists and visualizing things like that?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So that's like my whole life. I love the whole vision board. These past 2 years, I will say I've transitioned in how I've done my vision boards, but I think I want to go back to the old way. So let me just break that down. We can just walk through how I do that. So typically for me, I start planning for the following year in about November-ish. I start thinking back about doing like a year in review is what I do. I literally have, and I will say about the past 4 to 5 years, I've been leading my life the way I kind of want to lead a business. That sounds really bad, but from the perspective of planning ahead, setting some goals, thinking out loud and on paper, like doing a big brain dump, if you will. So I do a year in review where I look back and say, okay, what did I achieve? What would I have wanted to achieve? What went well? What went kind of sour? What can I improve on? I really believe in being very self-aware. I love to self-reflect. I do it all the time. And I will say sometimes it's to my demise, but I just believe there's so much value in knowing just who you are, knowing your mannerisms, knowing whether you are true to yourself or not. And spirituality plays a big role in that for me. I grew up in the church, pastor's kid, both mom and dad. And so that was ingrained in me from the very, very, very beginning. So once I figured out and knew that dentistry was my calling, and honestly, I know that it's going to go far beyond just being in the clinic or the office from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. It's definitely going to go to reaching people in such a different way. But just to go back to the vision boards, I do that year in review. I make a bulleted list and I get really detailed. The reason why I like to start in November of the previous year is because that gives me November and December to slowly trek through that year. You know what I mean? So I get to review my previous goals that I set for myself at that time. And then I get to say, okay, I want to keep this on my list because I want to add to that. I don't necessarily want to do a strike through there, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. Yeah, yeah. I think that really being self-aware.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I can talk about that all day.
Yeah, and I feel like that is such an invaluable piece of information to provide people, because no matter how old you are,
right.
You could be an older woman, you can be a younger woman. Right. I think that really just knowing who you are is going to help you go so much further in life, whether you are an aspiring entrepreneur, whether you are an entrepreneur who has a service-based, product-based business, whether you are a 9 to 5, whether you are, a college student, whatever it is, just really knowing who you are, knowing what works for you, and really just going for it from there. So I love that piece about being self-aware. That is amazing. And you guys, you know how much I love vision boards. Maybe you don't know how much I love vision boards, but I do. I love vision boards. I love goals lists. I am such a strong proponent on really not only writing your goals list, but being as detailed as possible. So I love how you said that you kind of go back through, you kind of try to see, okay, is this a goal that I want to continue to work on? how did this work out for me the year before? Is this something, I love that. And I think that for anyone just starting out with writing their goals list, being specific, and when you're doing your vision boards, trying to be as specific as possible is really, really important as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. I want to not focus on the challenges so much, but I do want to kind of talk about a challenge that you feel like you faced on your journey to becoming a doctor, and kind of how you worked through that challenge, how you got through the challenge, and then in retrospect, what you learned from that challenge.
Oh, I love this. Okay, so this is going to be a good one, you guys. So getting into dental school, you guys know, was a big challenge for me because, like I said, I didn't really know how to navigate that process, the whole applications process, the admissions, getting all of the grades, checking all the boxes to get in. So that was a challenge in and of itself. But then once I got in, that was another set of challenges that was just waiting for me to arrive. So learning how to carry the course load. For me, actually, because it was the proper timing, back to that word, for me, I kind of hit the ground running, right? And so some of my peers, my classmates were like, okay, you are on a level 10 and you need to be down here. But for me, I had been working so hard to get into dental school that it was just like, oh no, as hard as I work to get here, I need to work 10 times harder to even stay and make sure that I graduate on time. So I went in with tenacity, and the challenge once I got in was just not being able to connect with everybody, just because, not that I was super far ahead and I was like doing more or better than anybody, but it's just my mindset was different. My perspective was so far just beyond where some people may have entered, because I had a chip on my shoulder a little bit. Does that make sense? So I got in and I was like, okay, I need to hit the ground running. But that caused me to kind of be a little bit of a loner at sometimes, because people didn't really understand. There's a bunch of lessons in there that we can unpack, mindset, sometimes having to be by yourself. So those are things that I had to really learn how to navigate and lean further into, and be okay with not being understood. So the way that I navigated it, just to give you a direct answer, is I just leaned into it, and I knew that I had a goal. I knew that I had a purpose. I knew that, okay, I've been trying to get this for a long time, and I don't have a fallback plan. I don't have a backup plan. Like, this is the plan. And if this doesn't work out, I'm going to have to do some soul searching and figure out what's going to work and how am I going to contribute to my financial household. You know what I mean?
I love that. Yeah. Seriously, it's one of those things. It's like, for me, I'm one of those people that I just jump right in. I literally just jump right in. I'm like, I'll figure out, how to navigate through this when I get into it. Right. And usually I don't have a plan B, because for me, in my mind, if I have a plan B, I'm already preparing for the what if. Yes. Going to plan B, and I don't want that. Yes. So I love that. Honestly, it's like, yes. Right. So, okay. Now let me tell you something. Whenever I do any type of interview or anything, people ask, how do you balance work life? And how are you a mom, and a wife, and you're a businesswoman and all of this? And I'm like, I just do it. And I remember in the past, I would answer the question and I would say, it's not that hard. And I felt like many people who were interviewing me or who I was talking to, they would kind of lean in like, give me some more here. It is. Right. And I don't think that I understood the complexity that's placed on work-life balance when you're a mom and a wife. So I want to talk to you a little bit about work-life balance, because I cannot imagine how it was going through dental school, having your babies, having your husband, really trying to be present for all of them, and then yourself as well. So for all of you guys that don't know, you all know I'm a boy mom. I have 3 boys, but Dr. Wright is a boy mom too.
Yes, I am.
So, yes. So how do you balance being a mom, a wife, being there for yourself, being there for your husband, all of those things, and still being this dynamic businesswoman and dentist?
Okay, this is gonna sound crazy. People are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so type A," but yes, I am. I think very far ahead. I always tell some of my mentees, I say, basically for everything is like front loaded in my mind. So I do a lot of front loading. I think about things in groups by the month as opposed to day by day, by day. I know everybody's like, take it one day at a time. But when you are like involved and you have so many hands like in the pot and you like spinning and firing on all cylinders, you literally have to have like an idea of where you're needed and what ball you're not going to drop, right? So I'm going to talk about two things. So speaking of balls being dropped, family time, being present. If you're a parent, a mom, whoever is watching this, like, and if you have a spouse, a significant other, those are the areas that when we're juggling all the things, that's the area that typically tends to fall short. Once I became a mom and a wife, I decided, I was like, okay, when I'm home, I really want to be present. And so I kind of carve out white space in my day for those times. So when I'm with them, so I'll put my phone on do not disturb. I will put the phone to the side and say, all right, this is going to be the time that I devote and dedicate to these people because these are my people at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But at the same time, planning goes into it big time. I look very far ahead at my days, my weeks, and I say, all right, I know that for instance, let's just talk about today. I know that my son, he's 3.5 years old. He just started soccer. So I had to, yeah, it's an amazing time, right? Today was his third soccer practice. I didn't make the soccer practice because I also have an almost 1 year old. So I had to come from work, pick him up, my almost 1 year old, so Clayton, and I said, today I'm going to be okay with missing the soccer practice because I'm taking over the game on Saturday. So it's like that whole give and take thing. And moms out there, there's a big thing called mom guilt. If we miss one thing, we come super hard and down on ourselves and we're like, oh my gosh, I missed the soccer practice. Once upon a time, I was like that. But today I said, okay, babe, you're going to take over soccer practice because you have to work on Saturday. And I'm going to take Clayton tonight. I'm going to get him bathed, get him fed, and he's going to be ready for bed by the time it's time for us to do this interview. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I totally just, it's just a give and take. And I don't allow myself to get really down on myself and down in the dumps because for me and my personality, what that does for me is like I stay there for too long and then I don't get anything done. And then the whole schedule is like knocked out. Like we can talk about so many things.
Oh my gosh. We can literally
we can park right there.
Oh
yes.
and let's talk about mommy guilt.
Yes. Let's
Stop
talk about
with the mommy guilt.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
And it's in all of us. I know. But we got to stop being so hard on ourselves. We really
Yes.
Because from the outside looking in, I guarantee your kids are like, my mom is like really awesome.
Right.
They don't tell us that all the time because listen, I have little boys.
Yeah.
And I have to pull certain things from out of my voice. I'm like, hello, I did this, you know what I mean? So I think that being able to juggle so many different things, and most of us make it look really easy. So many times our significant other, they're like, oh, I thought that you had it because you're doing it. You know what I mean? Yes. So the way that you broke everything down and you're like, I knew that I had to do this and it's thinking ahead. I think that that is so important because for me, now I do daily lists. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm doing this. I know I'm doing that. Before, what I would do is I would just run crazy all day, nonstop. I'm da-da-da-da-da-da. And then at the end of the day or Friday, Saturday, I'm burned completely out. Yes. So I love that you talked about carving out that time.
Oh, yes.
Carving out that time, you know, allowing yourself to say, okay, put the phone on do not disturb. Yep. This is just time for hubby. This is just time for kids. And I think we all need to learn how to do that without feeling bad, without feeling like, you know, oh, I'm missing out on something or, oh, I could be doing this. Because at the end of the day, I think that's important for you to hone in on your why. Like,
Yes.
why are you even doing all of this? You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh
So
my, so
I
the
love
why
that.
is so important. Oh my gosh. I want to say one more thing. I
Mhm.
read a book, and it's called Good to Great by Jim Collins. And in that book, he talks about creating a stop doing list. I have, instead of like a to-do list, because if you're type A and if you make lists, if you live and die by lists like we do,
Yes.
you have your list is ongoing. Like once you strike through one thing, another thing has been added. So it's like, now that those clothes are folded, let me go and do this, or I need to take this call, or I have to see this client, or there's something that you always have to do. Something's always pulling at you. But in addition to like vision boarding and setting goals, I have decided that I do a stop doing list. Okay, these are the things that are stealing too much of my time, or I set parameters. I put myself on a timer when it comes down to doing certain things. And I'm like, all right, I know I can easily get sucked into this one thing. And then my list is still growing by the minute,
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
So tell us the book and the author one more time, please.
It's Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Okay.
I'm such a bookworm. I am a bookworm.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I actually started a book club.
Okay.
But I only have one video. You guys, I'm going to come out with some more videos because I've actually got a lot of other books. For me, I had kind of went only, and I was only reading like business books and stuff like that. But I love mystery books.
Oh.
So I've actually, I'm about to go on a tangent. Sorry, you guys. That's another video. But anyway, I love being able to have that separate list. Like, stop doing this. Like, stop.
Yes.
So thank you so much for sharing that. So before we wrap this up, I would like for you to share with us not everything that you're doing, but what you're working on right now and how we can connect with you, everyone that's not in Florida, or if we can connect with you on social media, website, things like that.
Okay. So first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much. Again, I'm loving this conversation and I hope we can continue doing this. You guys can connect with me socially. I do have 2 social media accounts. I just started a new one. The one that I've been on the majority of the time is called The Daily Dentist. So it's at The Daily Dentist. And then my newest one as of about April of this year is called Every Day with Dr. A. So that social media platform, I decided that I wanted to just separate some of the content between the two. And I've been on this leadership, personal growth, and development and interpersonal relationship stewardship journey for a while. So I share a lot there about how to manage and steward your relationships really well, how to lead a team very well, because I talk about hiccups that I've had here at work, leading my team, being a young doctor, being, the youngest one on my team at times, leading people who have been in the field longer than me, but they're not the actual doctor of the practice. So I share a lot on that page there. And then on my Daily Dentist one, I spend most of my time there talking about dentistry with my mentees, people who are aspiring dentists, people who are aspiring dental assistants. You don't have to necessarily be a dentist. And so those 2 platforms are there for you all. I do have a blog where I blog about dentistry, and that's www.mydailydentist.com. With my Everyday with Dr. A, you're going to have to split this up, but with Everyday with Dr. A, I have just some consulting calls that I'm starting to take with individual clients, and we can do a little discovery call where we can see, all right, what are some hiccups that you're having with leading your team or with staying focused, getting organized, interpersonal relationships. I just love talking about all those things because I feel like in our age group, maybe like our parents didn't teach us how to be like a good girlfriend, or how to like champion other women, or how to not feel left behind when you see your peer like skyrocketing, but that overnight success actually was 10 years in the making. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just overnight because you are just now seeing it, but behind the scenes, like hours have been being put in, groundwork has been being laid for years. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm available. I love to chat about leadership, personal growth. I'm super approachable and available, and I love women who are doing great things like you.
Well, thank you so much for being here on the show with us. I know that you just dropped so many gems. And I'm going to put Dr. Wright's information or social media handles either in the description or it might be in the video somewhere down on the bottom. Yeah. So you guys can look for her there. As for minding business, you guys know what I'm going to say. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, share, and of course, I am on social media at Mommy CEO. Thank you guys so very much for watching another episode here with us on Minding Business. I hope to see you guys later. Bye. Yay.